wanted to show you just really quick how you can add a PDF to DocuSign and send it out for signatures to your client, right? And add any text boxes or initial signatures or counter offers to it. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to come to the DocuSign, go inside your client's room, right? You're going to click on Add, Computer, and you're going to choose the document and be able to upload it directly here into the Documents folder. Okay, so I've already uploaded this as is offer contract. And so what you're going to do is, if you click on it, you won't be able to edit it like you would on a DocuSign form. All you'll be able to see, all you'll be able to do is just see it. So I can see all the information they put, right? All the initials from the buyer and all, but I'm the listing agent in this scenario. And so I want to send it to the seller so that he can, sign it off, or I'll put the counter offer, he can initial and sign it off. So I can select the document. I'm going to come up here to the icons and choose create an envelope. That's going to automatically create an envelope for me. Now I can come over here and title this envelope and say this is an offer, right? And then put the address, right? And I can say, well, this was the first offer that came in, offer 1. Here's the document attached already. Now I'm going to do add recipients. Now, since this is a PDF, you'll notice that it doesn't give me the options of pre-tag rows because that's only for DocuSign forms. So I'm going to go ahead and click here where it says room participants. Now I just have to say and choose who is who. So here where it says Bob Smith, that's the seller, right? So I want to send this to the seller. I'm going to add selected. And now DocuSign is picking up that information, right? Because in details, I put my seller's information in details, right? So it's one of the first steps that we would do once you create that room for your client. And so it recognizes that Bob Smith is the seller with the email that was already pre-set up. So I can come to email subject line and say, please review and sign. Hi, Bob. Please review the offer we received and discussed, initial and sign, so we can be fully executed. Thanks. Ariel Hernandez. Great. So I've added the email message and subject line. Now I'm going to come over and click on next. That's going to bring me over now to the section, right, where I can add the text boxes and initials and everything, right? Because this is a PDF, so I got to add everything myself. So I can come down and let's say, okay, they offered 450, but my client said he won't go any lower than 475. So I have to do a counter offer, right? So the first thing I'm going to do on the left side, you have different options here. You have different fields, right? And different folders or categories. I'm going to come over to the markup tools. That's going to give me the option of a line where if I click on it, I can come here and be able to draw out that line right above the price. Now I'm going to go back to my standard fields and select text box and put a text box right above it. And if I come to the right, you'll see add text with a little box in here. That's where I'm going to write. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put, okay, 475, comma, right, that's the full amount. And you always, whenever you're doing a text box, if you do not want the person you're sending this document to be able to change what's inside that box, then you always need to check off read only. If I do not check it off, then the seller can come in here and change this information and then sign it or do whatever. If you want to give them that option, fine. You leave the box there. He can go in and fill it in himself. If not, you fill it in, right? You can adjust the size of the box and then check off read only so they cannot change it. Now I want to add his initials here right next to the box. So I'm going to click on initials, bring it over, and I'm going to bring that box a little smaller and just kind of put it right here next to it. Now, if you want to have a date stamp of when this initial was initialed, then you can add a date sign box right underneath it. and that will automatically add there the date and the time that this initial was done. If not, remember in DocuSign, every time a document is signed, you are going to get a certificate of authenticity, where it basically says at what time and on what date the person signed and out of what computer. I'll have like an IP address. But I'll have there the initials, the date signed with the price. Awesome. Now we're just going to go ahead and add the initials in here for us now. So I'm going to come here to initials, add the initials of my seller. And I know it's my seller because I have his name highlighted up here. And it's telling me that Bob Smith is yellow and every icon here is yellow. So I'm going to come now and add the initials. All right, we would have already reviewed the document already. He said it was okay. So I'm not going to read it over. I'm just going to go down to each page and add all the initials that I need. Initials. Same thing, if there's anything here that you need to scratch off, whether it's a date or anything, let's say the inspection date, they said 15, but you want 10, you can also be able to do that. If there's something here that the person forgot to check off, let's say the lead-based paint, they attached it, but they didn't check it off here, lead paint disclosure, you can always add, see on the left side where it says checkbox, I'll put that little checkbox right above the box. And then I'm going to come over to the right side and put checkbox value and check it. And I can add checkboxes to the PDF. Same thing here in additional terms, right? I can, if there's any additional terms that you want to add, right, for the buyer or anything or the seller, you can come to text box, place it right in there. Reduce the size, bring it all the way, and be able to type in whatever the terms is it that you want to add to the document. If you added the text box and then realize, oh, I don't really need it, you can always select it and just hit the delete button on your keyboard and it's gone. Add the initials here. Add the signature here for the seller. Always keep in mind this black line right here under the black arrow has to be aligned with the line where you want the signature on. All right, so reduce it here, and that line is right on this line. And date signed, good. And add that final initial over here. And if you want to add your information, you can just come here to text box. And let's say, remember, it's just a test document, so my name actually came out as the buyer, but let's say that I'm the listing agent, so you can just write your name there in a text box, put another text box as the listing broker, right? And then put here, perfect. Got my initials, so I've been able to add the text boxes. I can add a checkbox. I can scratch something off, okay? Just like we mentioned earlier, you can do the same thing, like let's say with a date. So we have, let me see, where's my inspection period? Right here. If I don't want 15, I want 10 days, I can come again to the markup tool. Let's scratch that off. Standard fields, text box right above it. Make it smaller, put the number 10, and then add my client's initials right next to it. Done. I've added all the changes, added all the initials and signatures. Now I'm just going to go ahead and hit send. That's going to automatically send the document for the seller to sign and review. So you have now this folder saying waiting for others, right? And when you click on it, it tells you right now, currently, you're waiting for Bob Smith to sign the document. If you have to resend it to him, you can click here on resend, or if you have to make a correction, you can click here on correction. So right now is waiting for others, right? So now I'm going to refresh my page here on the envelopes, and you're going to see that this folder, let me refresh it one more time. Let's see here. See, it says completed. Now this is completed and has been signed, right, by the client. So I can come back, be able to go to documents, and I have now the as is offer contract signed and completed right next to the original PDF. And that's how you can send a PDF over for signatures to your client.